So let's start. We'll be discussing today. This is a very important topic now in discussion, not only between us, the world around. After Corona, now the world is going to be the history is going to be divided into two, pre-COVID and post-COVID. So now we need to prepare about lives after COVID. COVID is not going to be the end of all things. It is going to be the start, the beginning of many wonderful things that can happen if you can really understand what is a digital platform and digitalization. So to have a quick idea about it, this can be the first word that there are some technical words that I'm going to use. So you have to familiarize these words to understand what I'm speaking. So first is the economy. So we talk about the economy. So before COVID or in schools, there is the coming of the fourth industrial revolution. Before that, we find computers and internet in place. And so every information was at the fingertips, and that era, that period is called as knowledge economy. So knowledge had a very vital role. But now, with the coming of artificial intelligence, the era has changed and it has gone to digital economy. So we are now using digital products. The one platform that we are using Zoom is a digital product. So we unknowingly or knowingly, there are a lot of digital products around us and services offered by many companies which we are using. So the companies that perform well in this era are contributing to digital world and digital economy in every country, and the economy is now changing. For example, Uber, Uber has come up and that has contributed a lot. Amazon, the web services. So a lot of companies which are contributing to the digital era. So please understand that we are in a digital economy now. So we will go and clarify that in future. So the presentation that I'm going to make. So how do this digital transformation occur? That's the question that we are going to answer today, because in a digital technology, what are the technologies that can be put in a digital platform and that can transform how we live, how we work, and how we play? For example, the COVID, suddenly the COVID came, everybody was in a very great dilemma, how to go forward and how do we work. Now, after 1 year, we have clearly understood that work from home is a very ideal situation and it has given more productivity also. So here, the digital transformations are happening around. So we have to understand what are the transformations that are happening around in our lives, in our work, and in our play. And let me also tell you, students have now started digital playing games. We can see a lot of digital play systems coming up during the COVID, so that they can sit in their home, their living room, and then start playing squash and mini games on the wall. So there are a lot of plays also happening. So I don't know whether you're all familiar with that. So this particular age is called as the second machine age. Now let's think, what is the first machine age? The first machine age is 100 years before, when the industrialization started, when computers came later in 1940s, 1960s, when internet came, and the automation happened. That is the first machine age. So we had machines, but it was connected to computers, it was connected to internet. So automation started, and that is the first machine age. But now, with the coming of artificial intelligence and the AI-based smart products, we call this age as a second machine age. So there should not be a confusion between these two ages. We are particularly, when I use the word second machine age, we need to understand it's an AI-driven world. So AI-driven products, AI-driven services, AI-driven machines. So how machines are going to be artificially driven. And now, one more word that we need to familiarize is very important, and the word is Society 5.0. So what is Society 5.0 is a very dynamic equation that is coming up because of the machines being driven. All the machines around driven by artificial intelligence, naturally it will be going into a very smarter machine age society, which we call it as Society 5.0. So I will also tell you how this advanced and came into Society 5.0. Now, question to you, as an NGO, what is the type of education that you are going to give the children? That's the question that you need to answer. In the digital economy, in the second machine age, and when you want students to build products and move into machine economy, what is the type of education that you are trying to provide? Okay, I'm just concentrating on education, that's why I'm using this word. So this has to be very clear today for you. And then, you will be able to plan accordingly. You'll be able to position your NGO sharp into this world, and you will find out what are the opportunities that you can really harvest. So digital products have a huge importance. That also I'll be talking about, so you'll understand. Sitting in Tiruvalla, how much you can work, how fast you can work. Now let's try to understand the digital economy. I think you are familiar with all these pictures that you're seeing on my screen. For example, when you talk about smart homes, you have the the home automation systems, where you go to, you go to any smart home, you can digitally control the heat and the cold atmospheres within the room, isn't it? Thermostats. I'm showing you the picture of a thermostat, and the company which is coming up in the digital age, making this thermostats is Nest. We have a huge economical inclusion provided by this company. So thermostats are going to be common in all the homes. Second, if you just look at the second picture, you must have heard about Alexa, which is the voice assistant created by Amazon. So, if you have a Alexa in your office, if you have a Alexa at home, digitally you can control everything. For example, if you want to change the thermostat, you can just tell the voice assistant, Alexa, see, I want the temperature to be brought down to 22 degrees, and then Alexa will start working. So we will have to understand how Alexa works. The voice is taken and then it's converted to text, and then it is being produced to the artificial intelligence machine, and the machine works. So that is the way the technology works. So, but at the front end, we have Alexa, the voice assistant, which is going to help you. So Alexa, I need a glass of water. So the Alexa will start speaking to the home robot, and the home robot will come with a glass of water. So I'm talking about smart homes. So these are the homes that we are going to create in Society 5.0. Next, you want to travel. Of course, you're familiar now with, when you are in cities, you're familiar with taxi services run by Uber. Everything is on the mobile. It's very protected, especially women. We are getting a lot of testimonies and reviews saying we are protected, we are safe traveling in Uber. So Uber is one company. They don't own any car. It's just a mobile app, and that controls the entire taxi system all around the world. So that is the beauty of a digital product. Now, Apple watches, that is not the traditional watches. It controls everything, your health, your calorie, everything can be, how many steps did you walk in a day? Apple Watch will tell you will have to walk 10,000 steps a day. You have to drink 10 glasses of water. So these are watches which has become smart. So, these are all around us. Many of you will be wearing an Apple Watch by now. So you are in a digital world using many of the digital products. Now for messaging, everybody has forgotten SMS. Now everybody goes and uses WhatsApp, and nobody goes in the traditional form of putting messages. And if you want to popularize yourself about your NGO, you want to showcase whatever you are doing, you use social media. Facebook is one, Instagram is another. So there are a lot of platforms which does that. And in e-commerce, you can sit at the comfort of the home, especially after COVID. We are sitting at the comfort of the home, and we are ordering through Flipkart or Amazon or Mahindra. The younger generation are very, very attracted towards Mahindra. So that is the way e-commerce has been driven. And now, if you want to see a movie, you just go to Amazon or Netflix and download a movie, and then you whatever movies are there on demand, you see that. So the way that we have changing is something that you need to understand, the importance of machines that play a huge vital role in your life. Now coming to education, what is the type of education now happening? Everything has gone online, isn't it? So we are talking about digital education, online schooling, and there is self-learning process, and education, for example, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. We call it extended reality, is going to make a huge change. Suppose you are studying about a machine, you can have a VR image. So actual machine, how it works, it can be very clear to you. So, you also have holograms prepared. So hologram teachers are there. So, and likewise, home deliveries are done by drones or robots. So that's also familiar to you now. So we are, just imagine 100 years before, how were the roads? Because vehicles were started coming, or automobile industry started flourishing, roads started getting established. Now we should see that, we are going to prepare pathways and driveways for home delivery robots. So that will be the new roads that is going to come in. So there is going to be change according to the machines that take over our lives, and that is going to assist our lives. Let's go forward and see, how much we are socializing now. Now, how many times do you use a social app in a day? Everyone will have to take account of it and say, most of the time we are using social apps. So we are socializing in every form. And then, in your homes, there is telemedicine, there is telepresence created by doctors, holographs, and working from home has become a very part of everyone's life. Online meetings like this is happening, and now happily online yoga and online gym sessions are also happening. Yoga is also being now practiced online. So you can just imagine where we have gone with the digital world. So I'm just introducing the technologies which is now part of our lives. You must understand. Let's come to the COVID situation. The COVID situation in the hospitals, we need more of robot, attendees, robotic nurses, how, how these kits are produced. For example, the foods are delivered by robots. The robotic kits that we are using, especially the safety kits, all are being now produced by 3D printers. So 3D printing is a new technology which is part of the fourth industrial revolution. So we use 3D printers. So all the schools which has adult tinkering labs from 6th standard onwards, students are using 3D printers now. So they are printing using plastics. They are printing their own PPE kits and so on. So telemedicine. Now I have a student in Kendri Vidyalaya in Ernakulam, 7th standard. He is making the history of your medical practices on an app. So it can be used as a telemedicine. So you can talk to the doctor. At the same time, the doctor can see the complete history on his app, and he can take decisions based on the history of whatever. There's a doctor here, Ayurveda doctor, so you can understand. When you have all the history of the patient with you, it is very easy to judge and take decisions, isn't it? So that type of app is now developed by a 7th standard student. So you can understand the importance of how important digital education is coming up. And self-diagnostic devices. You don't have to go for testing your blood pressure or these type of style diseases, lifestyle diseases. Initial testings can be done using devices at home. And this is where finally the digital twin. Digital twin is human beings and machines are going to work together. For example, you have a Tesla car coming where the engine will start speaking to you. And when you are driving the car, the engine is going to speak to you and you are going to speak back to the engine. Then engine will come and tell you, suppose you are going to drive me like this, I'll get heated and some problems will happen. Either you park the car side and give me some rest. So this is going to be spoken by the engine. So that is what we call as twinning. Malayalam, the same twinning. Siamese, the man and machine is going to work together. That's a beautiful area of digitalization, the 4.0 technologies that come in. So when I show you all this, you will understand. You are also practicing and using these type of machines around you. So the 3D printers for creating your COVID tents and ventilators and all that, what I'm speaking. In agriculture, IoT-based roof gardens, vertical gardening, vertical agriculture and agriculture robots, these are all growing up now, isn't it? So you can grow your herb. And I have seen an app just before this presentation, coming to your meeting, I was seeing an app where it's called as farm bot, BOT bot. Bot is nothing but robot. Now he says for one human being, this app will prepare all the vegetables for one human being. Suppose you have 3, you have to multiply it into 3 and take a bigger pack, and so the bot will prepare whatever is necessary. The Ayurveda doctor will say, you have to eat this much of leaves and all that, but this is going to be spoken by the bot. So that is the future of Ayurveda. So how are you going to use it? That is something very important. So from all this, you will understand, that a lot of machines that you are starting using as part of digital age. Now let's look a little more deeper. Have you understood about autonomous cars? Autonomous cars are, self-driving cars. You don't have to drive. You can just sit comfortably, and then somebody will ask, is it safe? It is much, much safer than human beings driving the vehicle. So there are sensors used, there are motors used. So you'll have to study about what are sensors, what are motors. Next, you must have also heard about Sophia. Sophia is the first humanoid which has got a citizen from Saudi Arabia. The first citizenship of a humanoid is achieved by Sophia, and that was created by Hanson Robotics, where a lot of experience has come down. So your experience, how you are going to use into making a product is very important. Sophia is a good example. And now Sophia is talking to big conclaves, webinars and seminars. And that it's very interesting to learn about Sophia. And what I have not included in this slide is, now human beings are going on space expeditions, going into the space, especially to the Mars. There are countries, you must be noting, there are countries that are competing to be in the Mars and conquer a lot of spaces in the Mars, like US, where Elon Musk has contributed and been combining with NASA to travel to Mars. There is Russia moving to Mars, China is moving to Mars, and now Dubai is also moving to Mars. Why? Because there is a lot of costly elements like gold and all there. So they are not going for trees and fruits and vegetables. People are starting moving to Mars, because there are very, very costly elements, including platinum, gold, and all that. Huge depository in Mars. So people will start exploring and bringing that. So there's a huge competition now happening. So similarly, in Mars, you can't go and build a home. because of the atmospheric pressure and all that. Their 3D printers are going to be used. So latest technologies, including digital technologies, are going to be used to control Mars and conquer all the costly elements that are available in the Mars. So this is something that I have not showed here. It's for you to understand. Then you should think about, when you're thinking about mathematics, you should also think about machine learning. You should think about deep learning algorithms. How students can create deep learning algorithms, which is going to make a lot of change. And how logistics is going to work. I'll give you another example in a smart home, how logistics is going to work. Then any legal thing around the world, you can talk to IBM Watson. It's another very interesting board which is developed by IBM. And also General Electric, they are very famous for digital twin. So there are a lot of big companies, they're spending huge chunks of money to transform this world. Are you aware about it? That's another question that I'm putting in front of you. Now, to make all this discussion very short and very interesting, I'm coming to a picture, an explanation to understand the importance of machine-to-machine communication. Have you ever thought of a machine talking to another machine? No. Yeah, and you are also very, I think you will not understand what I'm speaking, because you are not aware about you can speak to a machine. First, human beings has to start speaking to the machine. That is artificial intelligence, most important domain, which is called as machine learning. There is a tool which is developed by Google, which is called as teachable machine. You can tame a machine, you can teach a machine how to. So every machine has a microcontroller. I'll give you an example. Look at this picture. You are all, when you wake up, what is the first thing that you would demand? You would demand a coffee in the morning or a tea in the morning. Am I right? So here in this smart home, you have a coffee maker. And this coffee maker will be preparing the tea when you are waking up. So there is a sensor. The sensor will understand when Anne is going to wake up, and the machine, the coffee maker, will make her a beautiful cup of, very tasty cup of tea. Coffee. So that is the job of the coffee maker. But today morning, the coffee maker has understood there is no milk inside the coffee maker. So what will the coffee maker do? The coffee maker will talk to the refrigerator in her home and say, there is no milk in my coffee maker. Can you give me milk? Then what happens? The refrigerator will search in the crate where the milk or milk powder is kept, and then it will understand there is no milk powder in the refrigerator also. So what will happen then? The refrigerator will contact the nearest retail shop and say, no, we want 1 kilogram of milk powder. So the milk powder will be delivered either using another machine, which is a drone that can fly the milk powder, or it will be used by a robot which will take the 1 kilogram of milk powder to the home. And there is a home robot which will collect this and give it to the coffee maker. And did Anne know anything about this? No. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll have to go see there is no machine. Then you shout back at the husband. Husband will shout back at the child, and there's a whole mess created. But here, nobody is going to know. The machine has done every exercise and ensures that there is enough coffee for you, and coffee powder or sugar or whatever water is there. So that works perfectly. This is how machine to machine works. I'm putting a smart question in front of you. As an educator or a lover of educator, and if you want to build value in education, can you think about a similar system where students can be supported in education by machines? Interesting, isn't it? Can students be supported by machines? That's something that we need to answer now. And who is going to take up that responsibility? If you as an organization, NGO, taking all the CSR money and going to do it, it's a huge business that is going to come. So there is a huge area which can transform education. What is that? Machines should start supporting and teaching the students. So students should interact with the machines. Students should start making machines. Students should start understanding what sensors are, what motors are, and what is the brain of every machine. It is called as microcontroller. Engineers here will understand microcontrollers. So microcontrollers, how do you program? You are all MCA people. So how do you program with a microcontroller and make the machine work? And students will start learning. So there should be student assistants, there should be teacher assistants, and teachers will play a very important role in seeing the 5 important elements which we will discuss in education, which cannot be prepared or done or driven by a machine. Machines can do everything, but there are certain things that machines cannot do. So we as educators will have to understand what are the things that are not done by machine and how can you do that. So that is going to be education, value-based education, because I'm focusing on value education because your NGO is pillared on that. So, you can also really understand what it is. Now, did you get an idea about how machines will communicate with machines? And that is a very wonderful area where we lot of learning by students has to happen. Next, I should also talk about what is this society 5.0. Let's go back. There was a time when man had to go to the jungle, hunt food, and come, and then they have to leave. Am I right? So that society is known as society 1.0, where hunting was the most important part of the job done by male or men. Second, when we moved, we people understood that if you enter into agriculture and a joint farming system, that will improve agriculture, and so things we moved into agriculture or farming society, which is called as a society 2.0. Then you must be knowing that by industries came. First industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, where a lot of machines started working. Third industrial revolution is computers and internet. So automation happened. That is the society 3.0. And fourth is there's internet everywhere and knowledge is available on the fingertips. It's known as information society or society 4.0. Now, this society which we are talking about is going to be the super smart society, which is driven by machines, or I can say it is man and machine living together. It is human and machines living together. So a cyber physical age. Cyber physical age. How good you are in controlling machines, how good you are in driving machines to improve your proficiency, your efficiency. That is society 5.0. Japan is the first country which is declaring themselves as the first society 5.0 in the world. So now you will see all countries will move at good pace, reaching at society 5.0. So this is something that we have to take it up as educators. We need to take it up and say that we are going to be the educators who will bring society 5.0 into existence. There should be somebody to master it. So if you can master it, and if you can bring 5.0 into existence, that will be the loveliest thing that you can do in this world. Okay, so I have a video. I don't think the voice will be heard, but you can just understand, because Japan, as I told you, is the first country which is going to bring a law and see that Japan moves in as the first country in 5.0. And there is the Prime Minister who has already declared it in the Parliament. Machines playing a very vital role in the life of human beings. Artificial intelligence, IoT, robotics, 3D printing are technologies which will play very, very important role in making your houses smart, in making your city smart, in making your school smart, making your organization smart. There is a tractor, but there is nobody to drive. It is driverless. She went to a shop and bought something, but there is no payment because it is accounted on the cloud. Now you are waiting for a bus. You will be astonished to see there is no driver in the bus, and the bus is a driverless bus. So I'm just giving a small picture of what exactly your 5.0 society would look like. Now again, the question is, how are you going to teach your children? How are you going to educate your students? Whether it is a student in 3rd standard, 4th standard, 5th standard, how are you going? That's very, very, very important, isn't it? So we need to know which are the technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, mobile apps, big data, robotics, wireless networks, blockchain, virtual, augmented, mixed reality, data analytics. So these are all, the future of technologies which is taking our society into 5.0, right? So these are all big companies. They started very small, maybe 1 or 2 in a small room, and then they have grown very big in revenue. That is exactly the picture of digital economy. Slack is one, YouTube is one. They're all started with 1 person, 2 person in a small room, but it has become the biggest companies. Now Amazon was the richest just a few months back. Now Elon Musk, Tesla is the richest person now. So there is a lot of changes happening to the economy. Coursera has changed the way people have to learn. Coursera, if you're familiar with Coursera, Andrew has changed the way that we learn. Every course is now available of any top universities available on Coursera. So these are all familiarized products in digital economy. So you must have understood the terms that I've used. What is digital economy? What is digital transformation? What is second machine age? And how you can transform your life using these machines. Finally, is the Society 5.0. So I will just now Society 5.0. We have to be very clear that we are actually making a human-centered society. When you see all these machines, don't think that it's machine-centered. No, it is going to be human-centered, which balances economical advancement with the resolution of social problems. As an NGO, you're very good in identifying social problems, whether it can be flood or corona, it can be complex, it can be simple, isn't it? So any social problem, how do you integrate a solution? How do you develop a solution for the social problem using the cyberspace and the physical space? That's very important. So that is why when I spoke to Anne in the morning, you take Chalanam, for example, you have to teach some students there, you have to engage with some sort of students, maybe 1 year or 2 years, where, those students will start solving the problems of that place. So it will be like a hub spoke operation. Like, you create a spoke there, you train the first peers, and those peers will take over. And they are the people who will go. So what is the element? The element which is missing is digital tools, the digital skills. So if students are familiarized with the digital skills, they can easily solve the problem. Language is not a barrier. Please don't mistake me. Language is not at all going to be a barrier. Only thing is, even if it is in Malayalam or any local language, you can have those people, select some people from that local place and train them on the digital skills. And when you train them on the digital skills, you can make it very easily happen. The experiment that I am doing now is, I have a program which is designed for 2 months. This 2 months, we are teaching digital skills. So we will have to understand what are digital skills. We have divided and classified the digital skills into 3 categories. One is easy skills, and then in little more difficulty in using it, we call it as intermediate digital skills, and then the advanced skills. There are 3 categories. So, you spend an hour with a tool, you become familiar with the tool. Okay, let us see which are these tools that we need to use and which are the tools available. In the easy category, if you want to make a survey, if you want to get the answers of certain questions, a questionnaire, you can use Google Form. So Google Form is a tool where, you need to collect. So only thing is you need to practice using Google Form. Okay, how do you prepare questions? How do you take a survey? How data is brought in? And whether if it is surveyed with a lot of people, you have quantity of data. And the good questions will bring you quality data. So it is all, multiple choice questions. How do you frame such questions? So that's the technique. Once you learn that, the tool is in your hand. Second is, you want to make a photo collage for all the, suppose you are in a flood area and you want to take pictures. How do you paste, glue? Collage is from the French word collier, isn't it? Collier means pasting, gluing. So how do you stick all these things together using a tool which is called Adobe? Adobe is the company which has made this tool. So Adobe Collage Maker. And you can use the tool and you can bring all the pictures together. In 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you have all the pictures together. So that is a very easy recognition. So for example, you are showing Edatua flood affected area or any place. Now you want 10 pictures, 20 pictures to be shown. You can glue it together and use this tool and make it. So this is a tool. Third is, you want to compose a music. You be thinking about composing a music in any language. You have a tool which is generated by Music Lab, which is called as Song Maker. Using the tool, you can compose a music. Then you can presentations, obviously, the presentations that we have to do. So presentation that can be either in Microsoft PowerPoint or in Google Slides. So these are the tools. Finally, a QR code, because everywhere you have QR code. You go to a fish market, you buy something, you don't want to touch his hands, you can use a QR code. So how to make a QR code, how to scan a QR code, and how to integrate QR code with your work. So these are the things which we have included in the easy. So there are a lot of other easy tools, but this makes sense. If you start learning this, and if a team of yours start learning this, and they start teaching some of the teachers, and the teachers make a mission saying, we will be teaching these skills in 1 week's time in all the students in 6th standard to 8th standard or 10th standard, that makes the difference. And then it goes into the hands of the students and they will start making wonders. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. Second is when you come to this intermediate, there are video stories, creativity. So let me tell you very clearly, from all this, can you tell me what are things which are the values of human beings and which cannot be taken by machines? First and foremost is creativity. Suppose you want to make a video story, you should be creative. You should make a storyline, isn't it? A document, a sequence of it. So that is creativity. And if you are creative, you can use a tool. Adobe Spark video is there. You can make a video. Okay, and you can put it on YouTube, and then it can be link can be sent to everyone. If you want to make a website of yours and you want to say every important thing to you, it's creativity again. So creativity is one thing which machines can never dominate. It's a value of human beings. Second important is imagination. Machines are not imaginative at all. It cannot dream, it cannot imagine. Imagination is all, the machine is itself is the imagination of human beings. Okay, so the second value is imagination. Third, most important is intuition. Machines are never intuitive. Intuition is always, the avabodham nammal parayilla. Avabodham eppozhum nammil ninnaanu undavunnathu. Nerthe idokke cinemade fictions aayirunnu. So that's the imagination. That is the creativity. Now everything has become real. Can you imagine Spider-Man from one building, a man is flying to another building. Now with robotics, you can fly. Isn't it? Isn't it? About 30 years before, if you want to take a video of a flooded area, then somebody has to travel with the camera in a helicopter. But today a drone will go and fly and do it. You understand? So the imagination, the intuition, etc., is going to be very valuable, and that will remain with human beings. Fifth important thing is ethics, the moral values, what you are trying to teach. It is always with human beings, and it is human beings that will tell which is good and which is bad. I can create a robot for good and I can create a robot for bad. I can create a drone for good and I can create a drone for bad. Isn't it? So ethics always remains with human beings. So that should be kept in mind when we develop all these programs. So there's a lot of value addition to that. Then if you want to create now nobody will write in paper because you have to cut a lot of trees and you have to cut the forest and make paper. Now everything is on ebook. So creativity again. So these are three tools where a lot of importance to creativity has been given. Then augmented reality experience. We have a lot of Arlupa and a lot of Google has a tool, Microsoft has a tool. So there are a lot of tools for augmented reality experience. Facebook has a tool for AR. And you want to recognize and classify objects in images to a computer. Then that is what I told you. Teachable machine is a tool for that. And design and simulate a rocket. There is a tool for that, Rocket Maker. You want to design a computer game, Slack for small children, 3rd standard, 4th standard, 5th standard. Slack is developed by MIT. So that's a tool there for developing that type of a game. Then 3D modeling. Actually, 3D modeling is a huge space for 3D printing and all that. And then chatbots. So these are tools in the intermediate. So if a student starts migrating from easy to intermediate, in my experience, I will tell you very clearly, these students will start converting their tools into products. Any student that goes from using easy tools to intermediate tools will start developing his own product. And that will be a contribution to the digital economy. So how you should teach is a bit different after the COVID because of the tools and all that. Only two things are important. One is a stable internet connection and a mobile phone. And students can start using these tools. And in advance, we have a list of computer programs, maybe animation stories, machine learning apps, artificial intelligence, mobile apps, because Scratch is there for students to learn. Python is there for students to learn. And Internet of Things, because all the tinkering labs have sensors, motors in the labs, robot simulations. Now robots simulations are because simulations, through simulations and animations, you can create and see in a machine, in a computer, rather than making it. And then you can build, program, and fly a drone. So these are advanced skills. So if students move into advanced, means they are going to be digitally efficient. So from 6 to 10, we should ensure that students are digitally competent. Otherwise, what will happen? If students are not learning the skills, what will happen? There's going to be a digital divide. Some students who are efficient and who can make money and have a better well-being in the society. Some students who are not knowing digital skills are not able to be efficient in the society. So that is what the dream of a NGO should be, Teach the skills to the students and let them live with a well-being in the society. Say after 10 years, they should be living without any debt. So what is happening today is students are not having skills and they are in debt. So education is something that can remove debt, the darkness of life, and they can enjoy their life. So skills are very, very important, and it is skills. And if you start using this, you will become a different person. Try using that and you will see how different you are. So this is the power of digital tools, which is to be noted here. And now coming to the most important part. There is a change in the system now, the education system or the curriculum, where we are going to introduce in India, it is going to be competency-based education. The simple meaning of competency-based education is we are not going to examine what the student knows, we are going to examine what the student can do. Suppose a student has learned the force, the concept of force, how the student will be able to use force or motion or your abacus in real life. 50-50 marks in 9th and 10th. We are in a huge confusion. There was no exam, CBSE exam for 10th standard, 12th standard. But when competency-based education comes, you don't have to examine at the end of the year. After each lesson, the system will have all the details. In China, there are sensors put in the classroom, and there is a band on the forehead of every student. That means it is measuring the thoughts within the brain. Which student is listening, which student is not listening. So there is a lot of changes that is happening in the education system. And when I use the word competency, competency is built on 4 pillars, which is knowledge, skills, attitude. If a student does not have that attitude, gone. And finally, the values. So values-based education is now a combination of competencies. Values, which was not there in the education system, is going to play a central role in the education system. What is the value that the student has created? I have a student, if you ask the student, Madhav, can you introduce yourself? I'll say, I'm Madhav. He'll say, Madhav, I am in the 7th standard. I have 4 of my apps in my Google Play Store. So that is the way students have started introducing themselves. That is competency. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what is the type of students that has to be created? And in the curriculum, in the NEP, there are going to be 4 stages. From pre-kindergarten to 2nd standard, it is called as foundational stage, which is play-based. So if you are creating any document, if you are creating any lessons, it has to be play-based. And when you take 2nd standard to 5th standard, 3rd standard to 5th standard, 3, 4, 5, which is called as the present primary, which is called as the preparatory, will be activity-based. And when you come to the middle, 6, 7, 8, which is the upper primary, present upper primary, there will be experiential learning. That means you learn a concept and you experience it in life. Okay. 5th is the secondary, which is lower secondary and higher secondary. 9, 10, 11, 12. It is multidisciplinary. That is STEM. Science, which is integrated with maths and integrated with arts. That is why STEAM is available. Now, STEAM means STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. The student should be able to present. Students should be able to be creative. Students should be able to draw. We're using tools. Everything is using tools. So these are the stages where we are going to approach. So as an NGO, you need to think, where are you going to position your lessons? So if that is clear, then you have a huge space to act upon. And finally, well-being as defined by OECD. You know what is OECD? Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. They are the people who conducts the PISA for 15-year-old. Those are that is the organization which determines which country is good in education, bad in education. India is very pathetic. In 2009, there were 76 companies and we were 73. After 2009, it was a great shock. No, India did not go into PISA every 4 years. Now we are preparing. Kendriya Vidyalaya is one, so we are preparing students for OECD exam, PISA. So students' well-being as defined by OECD refers to the psychological, cognitive, social, physical functioning, and the capabilities, the competencies that students need to live happy and fulfilling life. So as an NGO, whether you will be helping students to come up and with the skills that will fulfill the needs of their life. That's the question. So you have to imagine about a school. Suppose you are taking a school, you're partnering with a school. You should have the school as the hub, and you should find out students who can create machines which can help themselves in their learning. There are wonderful products coming out. Roybe is one small toy robot which is developed by a girl in US. And Roybe, if you just ROYBI, if you just Google, you will find. And it teaches everything from simple lessons in English to songs, Macmillan lessons. Everything is there, and students can start interacting each other. And there should be teachers who can teach for students to develop these digital skills. And we, for my part, we are concentrating on this artificial intelligence platform, which will support the schools and the NGOs wherever we are working together with, so that we will be able to track the progress of each student, whether it is in using the tools, whether it is in skills or in knowledge or in attitude or in values. So this is a huge opportunity which is being blooming out, and the outcome should be students should start innovating. And in a class, when he is in 7th standard, 8th standard, he should be proud to say that I am an entrepreneur. This is my product. And contributing to 5.0. So with this, I am ending up my presentation. So